Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing my 17 and 18 week pregnancy update. So I have a little list of sort of categories or questions that I'm going to go over, and they are the same as last week's or 2 weeks ago, the update that I shared, which was my 15 to 16 week update. So I'm likely going to be doing 2 weeks at a time throughout my pregnancy. It's possible that I might sometimes do 3 or 4 weeks at a time, or maybe I'll do some that are just 1 week, but everything will be linked in a pregnancy playlist. So I will put a link to that playlist above, and I'll also throw it below in case you're interested. That way everything will be chronologically, order there if you want to start from the beginning, or if you want to jump to a certain week once the baby is here and the pregnancy is over. So as usual, I'm sorry for being out of breath. It's a part of pregnancy and it's really weird, and I get out of breath very, very easily. So the first thing is that the baby is the size of, in week 17, a large onion, and in week 18, a cucumber. The fruit sizing is always like a little bit funny, but it does kind of generally help you understand like how long the baby is. So that's that. But yeah, large onion and a cucumber. The next sort of section is how I'm feeling overall. So I have notes on my phone. If you see me looking down, I'm just kind of trying to remember, because I'm here at the tail end of my 18th week, and so I want to remember also week 17, which was last week. So last update, I was sharing how I was still feeling nauseous, but I felt like I had totally turned the corner, and I could see the light at the end of the tunnel of nausea. I think I spoke a little bit too soon. These past 2 weeks, I have definitely had, I think, 4 days over the 2 weeks of pretty severe nausea. So the other days, like, I feel pretty good, and I might just have an hour where I don't feel great, or a couple of hours where I don't feel great. But I think there were just about 4 days in week 17 and 18 where I was basically like down for the count, like very, very sick, very nauseous, getting like just not feeling good at all. Like I said last time, I'm on medication and I've tried all the different home remedies for nausea. I just am someone who is nauseous for this pregnancy, at least. So yeah, it's been interesting, because I just wake up in the morning and it's a surprise how I'm gonna feel and whether I'm gonna be able to eat or whatever. But it's getting better, because it used to be 7 out of 7 days that I was nauseous. So about 2 out of 7 days, like I can handle it. I've also noticed in the how I've been feeling department that I felt more moody than I have been for the rest of my pregnancy. In the early weeks, even though I was really, really, really sick and feeling just awful, I wasn't moody. I didn't feel like my moods were up and down. Like I felt pretty stable. I felt pretty good in the mood department. I definitely feel like I am more easily irritated, and I become more frustrated with myself and others in the past couple of weeks. So the moodiness has definitely gone up some in the past couple of weeks, which has been interesting to see, because I just feel like I've been very chilled out. Especially for me, because I don't have like a super, super relaxed personality. I'm a very like get up and go, get things done, check things off kind of person. And I feel like I've been sick and I've kind of just let that go, and I've been pretty relaxed, honestly, for these early weeks of pregnancy. And now I feel like I'm starting to feel a little bit more like myself, and I'm feeling more moody, which has just been interesting. Luckily I know that, and so I've been trying to just take a little bit extra time to just like, I need to be nice to other people even if I'm feeling moody. So I feel like I've been doing an okay job at that, but I've definitely been feeling more irritable than previously. Another thing to note in the how I've been feeling department is that I have been feeling absolutely exhausted on some days. So throughout my first trimester, I felt absolutely exhausted every single day. That first trimester exhaustion is not a joke. I couldn't believe how exhausted I was during that first trimester. Now, some days I wake up and I really feel like I can get some things done. I don't feel like I'm operating at 100% capacity of, pre-pregnancy, but maybe 70% or something like that. Whereas first trimester, I seriously felt like I was operating at like 10 to 15% every day max. Like I was really struggling. But the days now that in the past 2 weeks that I feel really exhausted, I'm completely depleted. And so I'm imagining the baby, well, I know the baby's growing a lot right now because I can feel it, which I'll get to in a minute. But I'm thinking that with those growth spurts and things like that, that on certain days, my body is just zapped. I'm just like zapped. So I've been taking some vitamins and supplements and things like that to help with energy. I've been trying to eat really well when I can, and things like that. But even still, that exhaustion of growing another human, oh, some days I just feel totally depleted. There was probably one day in each week, one day in week 17 and one day in week 18, where most of the day honestly was spent horizontal. It was this past Saturday in week 18, and it was probably Saturday in week 17 too. That usually is the day of the week that lends itself best to just laying around, but truly like in PJs until 5 p.m., taking a shower and getting back in bed, at 8 or whatever. Like my body's just really depleted, and I want to honor and listen to that, and get the sleep that I need so that this baby can grow. Another thing that's been interesting is that although I don't have a huge appetite at all, like that stereotype of like the super, super hungry pregnant woman does not apply yet to me. I just don't, a lot of times food doesn't sound good at all, and I really have to rack my brain to think of something that I feel like I could eat without feeling sick. Those days, like I said, it's getting easier, but I don't have a big appetite. But on some days when I am not feeling nauseous, I've noticed an increase in my appetite where I feel like I can eat a little bit more than I could before, or that I want to eat a little bit more than I could before. So it all goes together. I mean, it makes sense. The baby's growing, my belly's growing, more nutrients are needed, that kind of thing to fuel all of this growth. But that's been really interesting to me because I really haven't had much of an appetite for pretty much the whole pregnancy. And just recently, in these past couple of weeks, I've noticed that on the days when I'm not feeling sick, that I'm actually hungrier than I've been in the past. So that's been interesting. The worst new symptom that I have, or the most challenging one that I have been dealing with over the past 2 weeks, are really bad headaches. Headaches are really, really common in pregnancy. There are several reasons for that. One of those, of course, is that hormones are just raging right now. And because of those hormonal changes and fluctuations and shifts and increases, a lot of women get hormonal headaches. I know that when I would be about to start my cycle before I got pregnant, I would always have a couple of days of having really bad headaches. And I feel like I have a headache just so frequently now. It's been hard to manage because I don't necessarily feel comfortable taking over-the-counter medication like every day. You know what I mean? So I've been trying to manage it in other ways. Things that I've been doing that have been really helping are making sure that I'm super hydrated, just drinking water, just ice cold water all day, just drinking water all day long as much as I can. And that definitely helps some. I've been trying to stretch out my neck some. I went to the chiropractor, and that helps with headaches because it just helps with my spine and everything, get everything aligned. So I've been doing that. I have hot packs and cold packs, and I've been using those, cold pack to ice my neck, and then sometimes to kind of mobilize it, I'll use some of the heat. Let's see, what else have I been doing? I have used a neti pot, which is one of those sinus rinse pots, and that helps a lot because sinuses often get inflamed in pregnant women because of all these changes. And so that definitely, that really soothes me, soothes my kind of face. It feels less tight, which kind of helps with general headaches. So I've been finding really effective ways to manage the headaches, but they're not fun. And it's funny because my mom, I have 2 other siblings, so she has had 3 pregnancies, and all 3 pregnancies she had not 1 day worth of nausea, which it's like I'm so jealous. She just never got nauseous at all with me, with my sister, or with my brother. But she did tell me that she had really, really struggled with headaches, especially in her 2nd trimester. So that's interesting that I'm definitely experiencing the same thing. But like I said, I've really found some things, some good remedies that have really helped me, and I just have to be thoughtful about drinking a lot of water and taking a break to ice my neck and things like that, and it's worked out pretty well. Moving on to food cravings and aversions. Aversions, hard-boiled eggs. Can't even think about them. I've never liked hard-boiled eggs. The only way I really like hard-boiled eggs are on like a Cobb salad, which I eat probably 1 time a year. It's not something I eat regularly, but like a really good Cobb salad with some chopped up hard-boiled egg I will eat, and I think that's really yummy. But outside of that, I think hard-boiled eggs, I like can't even talk about them. They really disgust me. I just do not like them. And there have been a couple of times in the past 2 weeks where I've seen someone eating one. Oh, it's hard to talk about. Or like even on a TV show I saw one, and I just was like, oh, it's just really gross to me. So that has been like my number one aversion. Eggs in general have been hard for me, and I definitely have not been craving them, but hard-boiled eggs specifically, ugh, awful. Food cravings, I have been craving vegetable sandwiches, which is so funny. People are funny about lunch meat when you're pregnant because it's just like there's a higher risk of bacterial infection, your immune system's lowered. Some people feel comfortable eating it, some people don't feel comfortable eating it. I'm not really interested. Like I usually love a turkey sandwich or something like that, but that really doesn't sound good to me right now. So instead I've just been loading up with veggies and just doing like cucumber and green pepper and lettuce and spinach and tomatoes and just tons of veggies on a sandwich with like honey mustard or something like that, and maybe cheddar cheese. I've eaten that a lot. That sounds great to me right now, actually. That's definitely been a craving. It's a good way to get in some of those veggies. Another craving has been yogurt, specifically vanilla yogurt. I've eaten a lot of vanilla yogurt with cut up strawberries in it. That has tasted really good to me lately. And another craving of mine has been coffee, which is really funny to me because coffee is clearly bitter and strong and acidic, and it seems like kind of the last thing that my body would want when I'm not feeling 100%, all the time. But I like crave coffee, which is funny. So I know about all the caffeine, limits and whatnot, and I honestly can't handle more than the allotted amount anyway. So I've been having maybe 1 cup of coffee every couple of days, something like that, and I have really enjoyed it. It's really funny how much I've been craving coffee. Moving on to physical changes. As I said, I kind of alluded to it earlier, I can feel really in the past 2 weeks for the first time, I've been able to feel my body stretching, like I've been feeling my muscles pulling and stretching and things like that, but I've been feeling more uncomfortable and I'm more aware of my uterus being full. That sounds really weird. Like when I bend over now, I can feel it. I don't know how else to say it. Like I can just feel that my baby is growing, and when I move around, I'm more aware of the baby in my body than I have been previously. As the baby gets bigger and as my belly gets bigger, and it's like I've had more backaches and just like that stretching, it's been very interesting to feel that. I really like it, actually, even though like a couple of days ago I was very uncomfortable. Like my belly just felt like it was growing and stretching, and I was really aware of the baby, and it felt like the baby was lodged under my rib cage, and I was just like, oh, this feels so weird. Doesn't feel good, but I actually love it because it's like, oh my gosh, there's a baby in there. It's just really cool. So I've definitely been feeling that. I mentioned previously that I had been dealing with hormonal acne around my mouth, around my chin line. I still am definitely dealing with that, but it has gotten a lot better. Just naturally, I haven't changed anything in my routine. I think I don't know, time, hormones, I really don't know. But I still am dealing with it. My skin is not clear, but it's a lot easier than it was. I was waking up literally every morning to like a fresh breakout, and now it's only happening once a week, twice a week, something like that. So that's been definitely a plus. I've been thankful for that, especially since the belly has gotten bigger and growing. It's nice to have that at least slightly more under control. The next thing is baby's movement. I felt the baby move for the first time at exactly 17 weeks. When I flipped over to 17 weeks that morning, I was laying in bed and it was pouring down rain outside. Just a huge thunderstorm was rolling in, a huge Texas morning thunderstorm. And I woke up well before my alarm. It was pretty early, like maybe 6:30. And I was laying there and I was kind of shifting my kind of pelvis back and forth and kind of starting to get that like awareness, like I was saying, of feeling something in there. And I was just hoping to feel the baby move, and I was just laying there praying, and I just was like, Lord, I would really love to feel this baby move right now. I just would love that. And so I kind of tilted my body a little bit more, and I just sat there real still for like 5 or 10 seconds, and I felt absolutely, like, undeniably baby flutters, and I just was like, oh my gosh, it was like the coolest thing. And I woke Riley up, and of course he can't feel it from the outside quite yet because it is like little flutters, but I could absolutely feel it. It was like the coolest thing, and I just laid there and was waiting for the next one, the next one. I felt a few little flutters, and since then I felt the baby move every single day. It's like the best thing in the entire world. I love it so much. So sometimes when I'm walking around, I'll feel like, it almost feels like an elbow or like a foot or something, just kind of like swipe inside. It's a very different, weird feeling. But anyway, yes, I felt the baby move for the first time. Really super cool. As far as sleeping is concerned, it's gotten weird. Things have gotten really weird. I still am sleeping soundly, and like, I don't have like a pregnancy pillow yet. I plan on getting one as I get bigger, but I'm still sleeping soundly, but I am having the craziest dreams and nightmares of all time. Like, I wake up in the morning and I don't even know what I just dreamt up. The weirdest people who I haven't seen or spoken to in 10, 15, 20 years are like central characters in my dreams, and it's like so random and bizarre, and like I'm doing really weird things in the dreams and like giving weird presentations about things I don't know anything about, so I'm like really stressed out, and just bizarre situations, very, very weird and odd. And so I wake up in the morning and I feel so out of it. Like, I'm like, it feels like I just went through this whole journey and adventure in my head, and like I did, and I wake up and I'm just like, okay, none of that was real, none of that happened. It's very, very odd. Like, waking up is just odd right now because these dreams have been wild. I know a lot of people get weird pregnancy dreams, so if you are one of them, I would love to hear what your craziest one. My funniest one was, I dreamt that Riley and I, this one was not scary at all. I dreamt that Riley and I were living in this big, like, wooden farmhouse, and we had like this big wooden screened in front porch. It was like quite large. The front porch was quite large, and there was like some outdoor furniture and things like that. And then we had 6 piglets, and each of the piglets had like a little placard, like a wooden placard that I had painted each one of their names on, and they each had like a little bed, and I had like made these little stations for them on this screened-in porch on our front porch, and each one had just like a normal like pet name, you know, like my dog is named Charlie, so it was like, I don't know, Charlie, Piggy, whatever, I don't know, just like 5 of them had normal names. And then one of them was named, the piglet's name was Louses and Peppers, like that whole phrase, Louses and Peppers. Where I came up with that, I have no clue. And we called that piglet Louses and Peppers full time. So it'd be like, Charlie, come on, Piggy, come on, Louses and Peppers. Like, we always called it that. And it was just like random. It was so random. And I woke up and I'm like, what am I dreaming? That one was funny. Riley and I joke about Louses and Peppers all the time now. Moving on to new purchases. I haven't purchased anything new in the past 2 weeks. To note at all. And then the very last thing is what I am most focused on this week. I've really been thinking about the nursery. I've been really dreaming about the nursery. I have a Pinterest board that's called Baby Lamb, and I've just been like putting inspiration pictures, color swatches that I like, and just kind of trying to compile my ideas on Pinterest. I'll leave a link to it below. It's a public board, so you're welcome to go look at it if you're interested. And so I've just been kind of compiling ideas and things that I like, and then as I kind of narrow down my vision, we can, you know, shop for furniture and kind of figure out what we're going to do from there. So I've been really focused on that in the past couple of weeks, just been thinking about the nursery and how much fun that's going to be, and I'm excited about that. The last thing on the agenda here is a bump shot, so I'll pop that in here and you can see my little bumpy. It is definitely growing, and I am more aware of it, and my clothes are feeling a little bit tighter, and it's just been really fun. It's really fun to watch it grow. So there's my little bumpy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love to hear how you are doing, and I know there are some of you who are pregnant and are right in line with me, like you're right around the same weeks as me. So I would love to hear from you too, if you want to share kind of how you've been feeling, if we have any overlapping overlapping symptoms or anything like that. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.